Today I'd like to talk to you about how to teach kids to prep. And this isn't just for parents, this is for grandparents, aunts and uncles, neighbors, educators, anyone that comes in contact with youth and would like to make them more self-sufficient. So in this video, we're first going to go over the rules, then a threat assessment, and then some of the skills needed, and finally, some of the free online resources you can use to help teach your children emergency preparedness. First, some ground rules. Number 1, do this with love, not with fear. Children need to feel secure and protected and belonging. Don't scare them with, you have to do this because what happens if a pandemic came or a nuclear strike or whatever you prep for. Don't include them on that level until they're much, much older. Number 2, make it fun. Don't be a drill sergeant. Make it so they want to learn more and they get involved with it, not because they're scared of how you're going to react or scared that they're doing something wrong. Make sure that what you're teaching is age appropriate for that child. And even more important than age appropriate, is it appropriate for that particular child? Some children don't mature as fast. Some don't have manual dexterity skills. I mean, it depends on what you're teaching. But you don't want them to start out and they're going to fail because it really isn't appropriate for their age. So 4, be a good model. Be it you're the parent, the aunt and uncle, the neighbor, whoever. Let them see you doing prepping activities and have it be part of your daily chores so it becomes normal for them. And number 5, this is really for the parents out there. Don't be helicopter parents. Okay, you're hovering all over your child. Let them make some of their own decisions, and they will be wrong decisions, and let them learn how to problem solve on their own. It is also very, very important that they develop critical reasoning skills for that problem solving. One of the things good for that is to, when a child asks a question, don't just give them the answer. Say, hey, let's research that together, and let them learn how to research something and feel like they've learned it and not just been told something. If they actually go through the steps themselves, that information becomes much, much more ready in their brain. Now, if you're trying to start prepping with teenagers, doing anything with teenagers can be a difficult task. Very often, teens are at the stage where they're distancing themselves from their parents, they're trying to become more independent, and so anything a parent has to say, they kind of block out. And they're at a rebellious stage, and that's part of normal development. So even though they might not be seemingly appreciating the skills you're sharing with them or the knowledge, believe it or not, it is penetrating, and when they get to be adults, they will thank you for it. Hopefully, not always. Okay, now we have the rules down, and let's plan the curriculum, so to speak. So the first thing you need to do is assess the threats. And you know, threats, depending on the ages of your children, is different than what we think of prepper threats for adults. For children of any age, disaster preparedness is important, be it a tornado or earthquake, wildfire, whatever. And of course, planning for home fires. Now that's one that you might want to do a drill for because that can save your family members' lives. But that's another prepping activity for any age child. But depending on the age of your children, they might experience different threats. If they're very young, you have to explain to them about no one's supposed to touch their private parts, that type of thing. What they call the stranger danger, as my granddaughter told me that her brother told her. I'll show you a little snippet here. Oh, so tell me about stranger danger.
When you're inside,
Yeah.
and a stranger knocks on your door, you don't answer it.
Nope.
And you wait until he goes away.
Because what could happen?
He would say, "Get in the car."
Okay. If you're walking outside and he says to come up to your car, what do?
Don't and yell for your mom.
So that's another important thing. Kids learn from other kids. As they get a little older, it might be threats more from bullying, from doing drugs, alcohol, teen pregnancy, online relationships, those type of things, which is totally different than really anything we talk about generally in the prepping world. But these are real threats for children of a certain age, and you should address some of your, as I call it, curriculum to this. Okay, now let's go into some of the skills that you want to install. Well, there's two really important ones. One, stay calm in an emergency. Don't panic. And of course, that means you and your spouse or whoever else is around the children has to do the same thing, because you have to be good role models for your children. But children should learn to stop, take a breath, and don't go into panic mode immediately. Because once you do that, they're not thinking as clear. And number two, situational awareness. No different than for adults. Just start kind of doing a game where you're somewhere and then you tell your child, okay, close your eyes. Now, tell me how many people you saw. What were they wearing? How close were they? That type of thing. You're teaching them to assess the environment around them. And that can be very important for any danger that's approaching. As soon as a child is able, they have to learn their first and last name, their address, and a contact phone number. That's really important in case of emergency. Also, some real basic first aid. They should know where you keep your first aid kit, so if they need a Band-Aid, they can get it, and how to call 911 and when it's appropriate to call 911. Again, that could help save the life of someone in your household. Another really important skill that some adults haven't even learned, and that's money management. And that's really an important prepping skill too. So they should have some allowance that they earn for chores, and they should be encouraged. This much goes into savings, this much goes for whatever they're budgeting for, so they can learn proper money management skills. And cooking, a lot of kids do learn this, but try to keep them, if they're in the kitchen, involved, give them a little task to do, and make again it fun, and teach them how to make their favorite meals so they can cook for themselves at an early age. And if they're interested, teaching canning and dehydrating is also great skills. Swimming. That's right, swimming. Again, we want to assess threats and try to meet those through our curriculum. Too many children die because they don't swim or they don't really know the water they're in. You should also explain about diving. Too many, especially young men, dive into shallow water and sever their spine right here and are either quadriplegics, paraplegics for life. So those are type of things that are skills that children need to learn. Sewing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be with a sewing machine, just needle and thread. How to replace a button. It'd be great if they learned how to do a zipper on a sewing machine, but those type of things that they're going to need in their daily living later. But these are also great prepping skills. But they can just learn with a needle and thread how to do simple repairs. Gardening. Here's a picture of myself with my granddaughter when we're looking to harvest the Yukon Gold potatoes. She had a ball doing this. This was really, really fun for her. But what she's learning is getting her hands dirty and gardening. So start that at an early age. Fishing and hunting. Great skills. And if you don't own guns, don't believe in hunting, at least teach fishing. These are really important things that kids enjoy doing, and again, great prepper skills. Now, if you are doing the hunting, teach proper gun safety and reinforce it, reinforce it, reinforce it. That is so, so important. So when you go for a walk in the woods, take them with them. Point out what are the edible or medicinal plants. Let them try to find morel mushrooms or something else that you're foraging for in the woods. Kids love that. It gives them appreciation of the woods and hiking, and they learn important prepper skills again by able to identify what plants and fruit can they eat and what is poisonous. Oh yeah, when I mentioned cooking, I forgot to mention, teach them how to use a manual can opener. A lot of kids don't know how. They have the electric one. Now, we only have manual can openers here, so that's not a problem. But if your house is using an electrical can opener, make sure your children know how to use a manual can opener and make sure you have them in case the power goes out. Teach them what is safe water to drink. A young child will drink just about anything, and you have to say, no, don't drink the water from that stream and whatever. But teach them what water to drink, but also teach them how to purify water. Very, very good skill to learn. And of course, any camping skills, making a fire, cooking on a fire, all those type of skills, again, are great for a prepper bug out scenario. It's also a great idea to have the child involved with some kind of livestock, and doesn't have to be a cow, okay? It can be a small rabbit. Here's a picture of my son. He did 4-H for many, many, many years, raising rabbits and doing rabbit showmanship. But we only had 2 hutches, so it's something that you can do in most cities, or have a small pen of chickens and get them involved to learn on how to properly feed and water and take care of these animals. I also really highly, highly recommend getting your children involved in 4-H because they learn a lot of the livestock skills. They can have agriculture, you name it, woodworking. There's so many things you can learn in 4-H. Woodworking, great skill also to teach your children. And they should know basic navigation. This is something I think I've still failed with my youngest son. His idea of navigating is his phone. Puts in the address. It tells him where he has to go. He panicked when he lost internet connection on his phone, so he couldn't get directions. So make sure children know how to read a map and really know in their town where certain streets are located. We have kind of cut-off streets, the main streets, and so they know how to navigate from those streets to home or wherever they have to go. And of course, basic maintenance skills, be that car, bicycle, lawnmower, whatever. These are excellent skills to teach children. It will make them more self-sufficient, and it could really help in a prepper type emergency. Your children may belong to Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Campfire Girls, or some other organization like that where they learn a lot of great outdoor and prepper skills. But if they don't, why not start your own prepper badge system for your children? Make it fun and teach them a certain activity, and then make up a book that shows the activity they learned and some of the steps, whatever, so they can always go back to that. And you can call it the prepper badge. Now there's other fun activities. Camping is a great one. But if you don't want to go out into the wilderness, you can camp in the house. Here's a picture of me with a tent. We had the grandkids in the tent one weekend. But it's a great idea to do it for a power out system so they learn what to do if the power goes out. Where is your lights out kit? But make it fun. And geocaching, that's a great way to learn navigation skills. And it's a lot of fun. Who doesn't like to treasure hunt? And of course, letting a kid build a camp or tree house. I know when I was growing up, we always had what we called our camp, but it was a tree house that various kids had built and probably wasn't the safest. But anyway, it was ours and we were very proud of it. It was quite a ways up in the woods, and we'd gather there and have a lot of fun. Nowadays, parents don't seem to want their kids to even go that far out of their yard, so maybe it could be something built on the perimeter of the yard. You notice the picture here for this video shows my granddaughter in a little teepee type structure. No, we didn't build it. I wish we did, but I took her to the area park and they had that there, and we looked it over carefully, saw how it was built, and she really got a kick out of it. So building some kind of structure like that with your child, great prepper activity. Create something with your child. Here's a picture of my son. He had learned in 4-H how to make the coffee stove buddy burner, and he made delicious, believe it or not, really tasted great, bacon on it, and he was so proud of it. Anyway, those are just some ideas. Right now I'm going to go into a list of resources so you can get a lot more ideas for how to make your children prep ready. And next week I'm going to go over 3 different books that kind of go into prepping for kids, so stay tuned. But right now, let's go through some of the free resources on the internet. So, younger children first. This is the Sesame Street Emergency Prep Toolkit videos. They have one on learning your whole name, family emergency kit, and planning together. American Red Cross collaborated with Doc Mistuffins, and there is a video on how to make a go bag. I'm not putting any picture of this because Disney is very careful about copyright, but I have all these links below. Okay, and I love this video. It's how to do the prep step. It's really cute, and it teaches them the importance of ice, the importance of staying calm, and having a go bag. And it's a cute little song and dance that kids will enjoy watching the video. And there's another go bag video done by Disney Junior and the Safety Patrol, and that's pretty cute too, so I have a link below to that. Then there are the Wrigley set of books, which is a dog, and he's into emergency preparedness for different disasters. And I went through one weekend with my granddaughter, and it was on tornadoes, because that's a real threat where we live, and she really enjoyed it. And I'll show you a little bit about what she thought about it.
A book to show you how you can stay away from the tornado.
And again, I have the links for this below. Now, for older children, there was really a great guide put together by the city of Santa Monica. It's called the Kids Emergency Preparedness Activity Guide. Utah also did something. Utah.gov has the Ready, Set, Prepare, a disaster preparedness activity book. And if you homeschool your children or are an educator, there really are some excellent resources. It is FEMA's Emergency Preparedness Curriculum and Resources for each grade. Really goes into a lot of detail. And if your child's a little older and loves zombies, the CDC put together the Zombie Pandemic graphic novel, which is a lot of fun to read, but it gives you an idea of why you need to prep. Now, for online games, which kids love to play games, so why not teach them some prepping activities through that? Ready.gov has the Disaster Master Game, and then they also have one called Build a Kit Game. And Save the Children Prep Rally, which I really like that name, also has a lot of great activities to teach kids prepping. I'll put the link below. And here's another online game called Disaster Hero, and it covers 4 main topic areas: basic preparedness, including a kit, a plan, and being informed; 2 common disasters such as earthquake, floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes; 3 basic care tips and techniques for specific common injuries; and 4 basic information about geographic specific disasters. And the Red Cross also has a phone app called Monster Guard. Now, sometimes, especially if your child's a little older, it's good to get them in a discussion about prepping. Like I said, not fear-related, but just discussing different things. And one way excellent to do that is through watching movies with them. And the Urban Survival site has a list of 100 survival movies. You can watch together, eat some popcorn, and discuss prepping topics. Maybe your child loves to read books. This site has loads of adventure books and survival books for children. Really some great reads. And you might remember some of them for reading when you were a kid. Now next week I'm going to go into some prepper books for kids and go into a little more detail. But if you're really into prepping for kids, I can't help but mention this. Maybe they need to go to Valley's Green School. It's an amazing place that teaches definitely self-reliance with children. It's like a very, very expensive prep school, but prep for prepping. Anyway, I have a link below. I think you might enjoy it. So again, make prepping fun for your kids, well, for your family as a whole. And if you have some excellent resources for prepping and kids, put them down below, because like I said, we always learn from each other. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And remember, share your knowledge, especially with the youth. This is Potpourri saying please subscribe, share the knowledge. Thumbs up if you like this video.